Hey traders, checking into the stock market today. So we got the daily lower highs that we've been scouting the last 2 days, and we pulled back very significantly from them being set. Where do we stand from here looking forward? I'll also talk about being wrong but still making some money. Let's check out the charts. So we'll start with the trade review here, then we'll go through the charts as usual. So in the video yesterday, I was watching the travel names JETS for the airliners and CCL for the cruise liners, and I was looking for a bear break of these rising wedges, and I was looking for XLF consolidation to help with that bear break. They broke bull. But fortunately, I was able to recognize that first thing. So I just want to go back into how I approached the day. I headed into the trading day today, not live streaming on the morning on Thursdays, so I had a little bit more focus. And what I'm watching is CCL, JETS, and XLF. That's really the focus. I definitely have my screen up where I'm watching a lot of other things, but my focus is on those three things. I know CCL is stronger than JETS. It showed me yesterday, so I'm a little bit more focused on JETS. So I watch CCL first thing, and I say, okay, we're going to test resistance. 2246, a bit of a double top from yesterday. I'm looking for two things: a rejection from that level into morning weakness right out of the gate, or a bull break of that level straight down into a new low of the day to show a weakness and a reversal, which would again be in line with a rising wedge where you break resistance with no follow through into a pullback. And actually, Bitcoin had an hourly rising wedge today, as did some other names. But CCL broke bull, and it broke bull real quick. In the first 5-minute candle, we broke well above it. We almost came back down. If we hit a new low of the day on that 5-minute candle, I'm interested bearish. But that's just a little shorter term higher low, 2-minute higher low. Excuse me. And very quickly a new high of the day. That first 5-7 minutes there, you hit the low of the day, it's completely different than hitting a new high of the day. As soon as you hit that new high of the day, didn't watch this name at all from that point forward. Your attention is a limited asset, limited resource. So attention is very important. That trade was gone right away. Okay, not interested in CCL. How's JETS doing? JETS, we're going to test the high of yesterday. First thing, 2241. I'm looking for the same thing. We don't break it right out of the gate. So, okay, I'm paying attention now. But we hit a new high of the day, and the XLF bulls are still holding on. All right, I'm going to be patient. Let's see how we do with the high of yesterday. We broke it, and then we just took off. So again, out of the window. I watched it a little bit longer. Rather than 5 minutes, I watched it for 15 minutes, but never took the trade. Didn't see anything that I wanted as far as just an initial sign of weakness. So from there, that's my morning game plan. 2 out the window. I've got nothing left. So what do I divert to? What do I look to next? XLF. Okay. XLF. I'm waiting for this daily consolidation for a couple days at this point. And what am I looking for? I'm looking at the high of yesterday, 41.66, and I'm watching the morning action. And I see initial weakness, but we hold the low. Look at the 1-minute time frame and how that plays out. I take that back. We did hit a new low of the day, but not on that 5-minute candle. So I'm watching this 1 minute, and on this bull move here, I see this double top. I make an initial entry bearish by trading FAZ. And then from there, on a pullback, I exit a third of my position to be a bit protective, because I plan on adding back if we keep seeing what I want to see, which is, again, bull breaks and no follow through, or a double top at the all-time high. It ended up being a 1-minute rising wedge, and I recognized that that was potentially shaping up, but I got to the point where I flipped it a couple times, and I had a comfortable average of where I wanted to be, and I set my stop. If 4170 breaks on XLF, I will exit FAZ. And obviously the high of the day is 4170. How did I nail it? A little bit of an experience and a little bit of luck. Definitely luck involved. I missed stopping out by 1 penny. When you have a large enough sample size of 1,000+ trades, you're going to stop out at the bottom right before a bounce takes place. You're going to stop out at the high right before a pullback takes place. You're going to miss being stopped out by a penny. That's going to happen often. It's just the law of probabilities. So what people have is I forget what the psychological term is, but a recency effect or something like that in your memory, where a newer trader, they're only remembering every time they get stopped out right before the move heads in their direction. They're not remembering the times that they stop out and save money. It's not a notable event in their brain. So the amount of times the traders say to me, and obviously it's a skill that you have to acquire through experience, being good with stop losses, but the amount of times a newer trader just says, I always stop out right before it goes in the other direction. And in my head, I'm thinking, nah, those are just the ones you're paying attention to and remembering. But anyways, I just barely missed stopping out. And I held that position all day. On Thursdays, I generally leave in the middle of the day. So I know I'm trading for pretty much an hour, hour and a half. What I like to do is position myself for positions that can play out on longer term time frames, because my best chance of sitting through a trade is when I'm not at the computer. So I had this bearish position. The 1 minute confirms the bear flag or the rising wedge. And I say, okay, good. That's good enough for me. And I got myself in a low risk position, stop over the high of the day, and I left. Well, I got ready to leave. Okay, that's the position I want. And I watched it play out, and I left the house probably around 11, but pulled back enough where I said, I'm comfortable here. I saw that we held the low of the day with the 15-minute higher low, but I then anticipated another lower high compared to 41.70 from there. So I let it just play out. From there, I saw another trade, and at this point in time, I'm about to leave the computer. And one thing I've been trying to do a little bit more recently is have a trade that is very low risk in both directions. I want to make money while I'm gone. I want to come back and have more money than when I left. And by doing that in two directions, if I have very low risk, if I can get break even on a bull trade and break even stop on a bear trade, I'm probably going to make money on one of those trades. So I see this NVDA dump, and I see the 15-minute RSI down in the teens. Okay, I'm interested because I know that there's space for a potential daily high or low. And I looked at the 5-minute time frame, and it was a waterfall drop as well. Absolutely crushed. This was a stair-step pattern where you have a lower high every single candle for 3, 6, 9, 12 in a row. That pattern breaks at 271.15, and we ended up going up 1% from there. Again, nothing huge, but a 1% bounce is enough for you to navigate to get risk-free. And so that's what I did. I was actually on the 1-minute time frame, and I watched this waterfall drop. I see QQQ's 5-minute RSI. At that point in time, I'm looking at my other screen, which is where I was watching it at that point in time. The 5-minute RSI was 16. So I'm getting comfortable that a short-term bounce is likely coming in QQQ, and I need that if I'm going to have any NVDA bounce follow through. And I'm watching a battle at 270. We held 270, weak 1-minute bounce. We double bottom at 270, a weaker bounce, bear break with 0 follow through, market buy, I'm in. First entry. So I got filled right in the low 270s. I would have entered a second position if we kept dropping, probably another $1.50 to the downside, because again, at that point, the 5-minute RSI would be approaching single digits, and the 15-minute RSI would be approaching low teens, and QQQ 5-minute RSI would be approaching single digits. And if there's not a news catalyst that's leading to that extreme of an RSI, I'm fairly confident that a bounce is going to take place in the near term. So I only got one fill, and it was right near the bottom. And as it bounced, I exited half on that 1-minute bounce to be able to be risk-free. All I need is a dollar bounce. So if I'm in, let's just say 270.40, I forget exactly what it was. If I still half at 271.40, I can put my stop at 269.40 and be risk-free. If the bounce follows through from here, I make money. If it doesn't, I don't lose a dollar. So that's what I did. I set a stop loss, break even under the low, and I got my stop loss on XLF. It would have been a tiny loss, FAZ. If we hit a new high, I would have stopped out with a very small loss, but then I left and I was gone for 2 hours. And NVDA, I stopped out. Did I? Where does that stop? Was it a 5-minute? I'm on the wrong day. I definitely did. It was a 15-minute bear flag. So stopped out while I was gone, came back and saw that. Okay, great. But XLF made me some solid money. It was over a day maker today, and I'm swinging that position because I was not back at the computer in time to react to that end of the day dump or do anything. So I'm still in a very comfortable position. Daily consolidation just started, and I had over a day maker from that trade and from the break-even stop out. Now, I have been very wrong the past couple of days. I've been very right and very wrong. So what does that mean? If you're looking at a microscope and you've got the different lenses that zoom in and out, I've been very right on the lower strength, the bigger picture. I've been very right on the broader market in terms of being on point with the bounce that we just saw on the daily time frame as far as timing it, and being on point scouting the daily lower high, looking for the pullback today. What I was wrong about, I chose the wrong names both times. I chose the Netflix daily bounce, and obviously that got no follow through. And again, I didn't lose any money. I made a small amount of money on this Netflix bounce, but I was wrong, and I left money on the table by not choosing a better bouncer. Whether it was QQQ itself or another individual name, much better bounces out there. I chose the worst big tech bouncer. We also knew, in just a little side note, we knew Netflix was going to be volatile today. Didn't know which direction, but after 3 days that tight with a triple top and with an hourly high or low every day, you know you're going to see the highest, you're very likely to see the highest volatility day of the last few when you get that tight. And obviously we rolled over and confirmed a bear flag. We are crushed heading into earnings. I'm watching for a bounce. I'm watching QQQ as well. I need QQQ to bounce to help, but I like the setup for looking for shorts to cover a bit. What I want to see is a QQQ bounce, ideally a daily high or low, which we'll look at in just a second. And I want to see Netflix shorts cover leading into earnings because, again, this daily RSI is at some historical, not historical lows, but certainly historical bounce levels over the last decade. That has me interested. So, nice bear follow through there. Big win for the Bears. So I chose the wrong bouncer. And then today I chose the wrong bear. And the reminder to myself is, duh, choose the weaker names bearish. Don't choose the strongest name bearish. The reason I chose XLF is because it was a part of my game plan already. And for me to pivot and ditch my entire morning game plan and then try and find another trade, it's a bit too scatterbrained for me and it's a bit too last minute. So it was easy for me to default, okay, chuck CCL out, chuck Jets out. I've been watching XLF all morning, so I just felt comfort as far as, okay, that was a key aspect of my game plan, and I'm still watching for that. And obviously we pulled back from my entry on XLF, probably 1%, maybe just under 1%. And, QQQ was a beautiful top fish. Didn't break its high of yesterday, and then the Bears absolutely took over. And, that's a week maker if I'm short QQQ as opposed to a day maker, short XLF. So wrong, I'm picking the wrong names, but I've got the macro down. So it's easy for me to look on the bright side and just tweak a few things and just some little reminders, but that is where I'm at. So SPY, daily lower high set. So now it is key. The next 2 days are really important. Keeping in mind we got a Monday holiday, so Friday and Tuesday, two things are going to happen. One of two things. We're going to set a daily high or low and try and shape up a trend change, or we're going to drop to a lower low and confirm a daily downtrend. How can I determine which is most likely? What are the clues that I can look to? I've got my indicators. Volume increasing for the Bears. That's a check mark in the bear column. That increases probabilities to a lower low. What's the size of our retracement at this point? From the low to the high of the bounce, we've given back over 50%. Check mark for the Bears. Probabilities, again, just a probability needle. Size of that bounce. Before daily consolidation starts today, you ask me, what is the most likely scenario? I say a daily high or low. And I say I am 65% sure we're going to set a daily high or low. So my probability needle is right here. Now today happens, you show me over a 50% retracement, 65% goes down to 58%. You show me increasing bear volume, 58% goes down to 50%. So my probability changes with every day because I have new information now. And so now tomorrow is extremely important. And there's one key thing I'm watching here, which is how do we respond to hourly oversold conditions? And we only just got there on SPY at the end of the day. Does an hourly high or low, does an hourly oversold conditions, does that lead to a solid enough bounce to shape up a daily high or low? So again, two scenarios. Straight drop to a lower low. If we're going to break that level tomorrow, we need notable bear volume. But 456.60 is that level. The bulls have to change the hourly trend back in their favor for a daily high or low to be set. And what that would look like is a big enough bounce to then look for an hourly high or low and look for an entry and then try for that trend change. If I am looking bearish, I'm looking for an hourly lower high bear entry. But if I'm looking bullish, I don't need to try and catch a falling, it's not a falling knife, but I don't need to try and catch this weakness and try and nail the daily high or low. I can wait for a bounce that is big enough and miss it and say, go on, bounce without me. I'll observe, okay, that bounce is big enough. I'm scouting that high or low. And I'm making one entry here and my stop level is here. I'm not using the stop all the way down here. I'm using a nearby stop to have much less risk. And I'm saying to myself, if this is going to be our daily high or low to shape up a daily trend change attempt, I want to enter on the hourly high or low so we can confirm that trend change and set that daily high or low. If I'm wrong, it is much more forgiving than using that other low. The risk is, the downside is, what if we confirm an hourly downtrend, get no follow through, and then set the daily high or low and you stopped out? That happens. That's part of the game. And again, if I want to keep the risk and reward favorable on the trade, I'm going to keep my stop closer than that 456.60 level. If I were looking swing trading mindset, I would just use a much smaller position. And I could still use that 456.60 level, but again, I would use half the position size that I would use on the style that I just talked about. So many different styles on how to trade things. QQQ. So weaker. We've noticed been weaker for a while. Again, that's my face palm moment. Short QQQ, you clown. So we're looking at, I don't even need to measure. It's over 50% retracement. It's increasing bear volume. If we drop down and break 369.31, the daily downtrend follows through, and the weekly downtrend starts to follow through as well. We're not going to forget this is the first weekly downtrend since post-COVID. So bears coming out today and say, hey, don't forget about us. Yeah, nice little bounce. You cooled things off for us. Thanks. Daily lower high set. Tomorrow's an important day. NVDA, we're watching this 4-hour channel. We've been watching it for a while. So I'll be interested if NVDA holds 256.44, I'm interested. But if it breaks it with no follow through, I'm also interested bullish. So that's something I'm keeping an eye on. Daily RSI is a back burner. Any name that's coming, not at this point, but we're watching for it. Any name that's coming off an all-time high, getting to daily oversold conditions, that's a back burner trade that we scout a bounce on. So keeping an eye on that as well. SMH Semiconductors had a real strong morning, but gave it back. And we're watching that low there as well. Tesla, daily lower high set. Can the bulls hold 980 and form a higher low? More than a 50% retracement, increasing bear volume. So again, the bears definitely made a bit of a statement today. Can they follow through tomorrow? If we confirm the daily downtrend on Tesla, our weekly lower high is set, our double top is set, and we're looking at the low of 886 from there. Key support test. XLV. Potentially joining Team Bear. If we're not setting a weekly high or low yet, if we drop down and break 133.44, daily downtrend confirms. And again, bears get another teammate as far as a sector that is weighing on the broader market. So everything was weak today. Financial sector started daily consolidation, but again, this chart is just fine. And again, I chose the strongest sector to short. What do you expect? So looking for a daily high or low, watching first hourly oversold conditions, which will be a back burner trade. I may look to take profit there. If we see further follow through tomorrow into daily consolidation, I may exit into hourly oversold conditions and then look to reload an hourly oversold bounce. It depends on how the rest of the market is shaping up. NIO, daily lower high potentially shaping up. Nice tight little equilibrium here. IWM, potential bear flag. IWM looked weaker yesterday. I think we pointed that out in the video. And we're looking down at 211.11 and 208.76 as the biotech sector leads the way to the downside, confirming the daily bear flag already. Daily RSI oversold. Look at weekly RSI. Just hitting oversold. We bounced from there on COVID, on the COVID flush. We did get down to 25 weekly RSI. We got down to 29. But I'm looking back historically in 15 years of trading, 14 years, and I can see weekly oversold is generally a good time to buy. That doesn't mean I'm just scaling in. That means I'm watching for a weekly oversold bounce. And I know that the broader market's going to be a factor. I know that IWM is going to be a factor. But you give me these historical RSI levels and I say I am absolutely aware we can go lower. So I'm not just scaling in, but I'm watching for a weekly oversold bounce. Dollar, trying to get a little bounce shaping up. Some bear follow through from that key break that we saw. I don't know where my second EMA has gone. But just looking for a 4-hour, we need a 4-hour trend change for any kind of bounce from here, and then we'll scout a daily lower high to be the result of that bounce. Gold pulled back a bit, but still very healthy overall. Bulls are trying to form a quick higher low, but I don't think the dollar is done trying to bounce on the daily. Again, I'm being very patient, these metals. You look at this move for gold, unless you're playing leveraged, this whole 4-day bounce, that's what QQQ dropped today. So as in the video yesterday, I talked about having no FOMO because these moves aren't big in gold. It's nice to have something if you got cash just lying around. It's better to have a trade on gold if you're in the right direction than just having cash sitting around. But I mean, QQQ just dropped that big 4-day bounce in one day. So I'm not worried about missing gold moves. Natural gas, big pullback. It's worth scouting a 4-hour high or low, and to do so, I'm watching this falling wedge. So I didn't see this until 2:30 or so, but I just saw that the bear break's starting to lack a little bit of follow through, and I look at this 4-hour time frame and say, yes, I'm absolutely scouting a higher low. Lose the pattern of a higher low every 4-hour candle, roll over big time. Now we got a pattern of a lower high every candle. We'll scout a 4-hour high or low, then we'll scout a 4-hour lower high due to the size of this pullback. And remember, we were just looking for a weekly lower high, knowing we have to change the weekly trend if that monthly high or low is going to see follow through. Hope you had a good day out there. Hope you were looking bearish. We knew to be looking bearish. Just being patient. I think in one of the last videos, I said, I am not interested in bullish at this point. And now, if you were looking bullish and missed that bounce, this is when you're looking bullish. And it's hard to do so because everything's big and red and scary. And you got to step in front of a bear train to try and get that daily high or low. But you need to wait for the trade setups. Maybe it's that hourly bounce, and then you try that high or low. But this is what a bull wanted to see in terms of looking for a potential entry. And what's going to be key for me tomorrow? Volume's going to be a bit tricky because it's Friday before a 3-day weekend. So if it's low volume, I would normally say, well, I would expect it to be low volume. But we'll see what we get. Do good things. Hope you're well. Adventure time. So this is in Vegas, and we are hitting the road. My buddy and I both going back to the East Coast. I was going to Florida. He was going to North Carolina. So we went probably half the way together and then went our separate ways, and we certainly loaded up on the good stuff. I was beer deficient on my road trip, and my previous road trip where I went with my buddies spoiled me because I was drinking the crap water beer, high school, college, and then out of college, he introduced me to good beer. And once you go good beer and you enjoy it, you cannot go back. So we loaded up some nice hemp ale. If you try the Hemperor by New Belgium Brewing, they make that here in town. That's the best hemp beer I've ever had. And if you like the taste of ganja, you're going to like that beer. Old Rasputin is also a favorite of mine. So we adventured on through Zion. And this was my second. I think I've been to Zion 3 times now. But my buddy grew up as a hunter, and he was blown away by how close the deer get because they're just used to being around people and they are protected. So it was freezing, but it was beautiful as always. I had never been to Zion in the winter, so a little bit of a different landscape, but certainly still epic as always. And we ended up camping overnight, and the lows were 12 degrees. And in Celsius, that is, I think, a -11. I've never camped that cold before. It was a very interesting experience. You can see the running water is freezing here, but it was wild. I don't think I'll ever do that again. But, you know, wearing 8 different clothes and having 4 layers of sleeping bags and blankets, and we made it. Nice big old rocks. We went with the little dog, Nico, and we originally got him when I was in college with my buddy and found him on the side of the road, but got him mid-shake there. Interesting face. But he was fun to come and play with and have on the adventure in the national park. So we drove from Zion across through Texas. It actually snowed in Texas as well, which was certainly not expected. And got some Texas state parks coming up and then heading back to Florida before going to Costa Rica after that. So I guess we'll go through Costa Rica. I've certainly done that before, but we'll go through again and finish up as we head into the current 2019 spring. So again, this road trip was 6 years ago. Every video I get messages from people saying, wow, how are you getting internet while you're streaming? And, oh, you should come say hello in South Utah. I'm over in blah, blah, blah. This is all a long time ago, but we'll do some more current stuff when the gardens get going. I'll do some garden progress, and I think I'm going to buy a house that'll turn into a little farm soon. Been scouting for a long time, just found a potential prospect. So we'll see. Do good things again. See you soon.